Tomorrow is the end of voting in Canada to elect a new prime minister. The big issue in this campaign has been U.S. Canadian relations, especially President Trump's tariffs. The two frontrunners are Liberal Party leader and current Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre. Since the beginning of the year, opinion polls have gone from showing a commanding Conservative Party lead to a narrower but consistent Liberal Party lead. David Frum is a writer for The Atlantic and host of the podcast The David Frum Show. He's a native and part-time resident of Canada. David, more than 20 percentage point swing from the beginning of the year to now. What happened?
Let's talk about first why the Conservatives were so far ahead. Under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the Liberals have governed Canada for a decade, since 2015. Economic progress has been disappointing over those 10 years. Productivity growth was slow. Incomes did not rise. The Trudeau strategy for overcoming this poor performance of the economy productively was to invite many more immigrants to come, to make at least the economy bigger. Canada's immigration rates were already high. He effectively doubled it. So Canadians find themselves poor economic performance, huge inflow of immigrants, rising housing prices, much disappointment. That put the Conservatives ahead until Trump began to open his mouth.
And talk about that. What happened after Trump, as you put it, Trump opened his mouth?
Well, Canada and the United States have a $1 trillion trading relationship. Obviously, there are always frictions, and they always have to be resolved. And traditionally, they've been resolved through negotiation, amicably, and in the context of a relationship that's also about security, policing, environmental. Is an excellent relationship almost all the time. Trump began to put demands on Canada, and they weren't rational demands. And that has, of course, rallied Canadian opinion to the flag and made Canadians look around to say, which politician seems least like Donald Trump? And that's the guy we're going to back.
Tell us about the two leaders who are likely to be, one of them will be the new prime minister, Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre.
The Conservative Party leader has been leader for a while. He's a very dynamic House of Commons performer. He had made his mark on the issue, above all, of housing prices. And he'd appealed strongly to younger voters who have been priced out of housing markets, especially in Vancouver and Toronto. And that was the core of his message. Economic change, accelerate economic growth, bring down housing prices so you can start a family. But the Conservatives also have a minority within the Conservative Party that has responded to some Trump-like themes. And so Canadians sense the Conservatives weren't as anti-Trump as Canadian voters were at a time when Trump was saying, I want to destroy Canada. And so Mark Carney, who's a banker who's never run for any office before, stepped in as the clean face of the Liberals, replaced Justin Trudeau, and is saying, I will stand up to Trump, and I will deliver the kind of more economic nationalism of a Canadian variety. Someone is going to say no to Trump, and they're not so sure that the Conservatives would say no to everything.
When Americans hear liberal and conservative, they think they're analogous to the Democrats and Republicans. Is that right?
That's not at all right. So the Liberal Party of Canada is the most effective political organization in the democratic world. They've held out of the past 100 years, they are all about winning. They are very unlike the Democrats. And there is not a thing they stand for that they wouldn't turn it upside down if it helped them win votes. The Conservative Party is a much more regionally based party. It's a much more fractious party. And it's got a higher floor of supporters, but a lower ceiling. And it's a much less ideological party than the American Republicans. So the Liberals, much more ruthless than the Democrats. The Conservatives, much less ideological than the Republicans. That's why you can have such a big movement of votes, because it's not that polarized a country, not that ideological a party system.
We've had record early voting in Canada. Does that reflect voter interest?
It reflects two things. First, the turnout is going to be high. There's also been a trend in Canada for the vote to splinter into smaller parties, regional parties, Green parties, the left-wing NDP. This election looks like to be a reconcentration in the two big parties, Liberals and Conservatives, in a way Canada hasn't seen at least since the 1980s, maybe not since the 1950s.
David Frum in Canada, thank you very much.
Thank you.